How's it going, guys? This is Win and welcome back to another Elder Scrolls Blades video. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit more controversial than our past videos. Unfortunately, it seems like some things were added to the game that not everybody knew about. So in my video this morning, I talked about an update that dropped today. They had a few quick hot fixes for issues that people have been complaining about. Most notably, the silver chests were basically fixed now, or at least improved, where they don't take 3 hours to unlock, they only take an hour. There were a few other changes like the Abyss giving a little bit more experience, and things like if you accidentally tap to spend gems, now there will be a warning that says, hey, do you actually want to spend these gems? That way you're not going to tap and accidentally, oops, there goes 40 gems, right? So some pretty good updates and upgrades, but unfortunately it feels like there were a lot of things that were put into the game or changed that did not make it into the patch notes, and that is a little sketchy. Now, I want to give Bethesda the benefit of the doubt. There have been a few things that I can't prove. I've done a lot of investigation, so before I get into the actual material of this video, I just want to say this is all speculation, okay? So I don't want you guys to take this as fact. However, in my opinion, I believe that if enough people are noticing the same thing, and there's like a lot of the same type of messages being shared across YouTube comments, across Reddit comments, Reddit posts, all kinds of things in the community, that, you know, people are independently reaching the same conclusion or noticing the same thing all at the same time, then there must be something driving that, and I, tried to get to the bottom of it, and I want to share my findings with you guys here. Now, what's kind of funny is when you think about a mobile game like the Elder Scrolls Blades, there's a lot of psychology that goes into how the game is developed. Obviously, it's a beautiful game and with all the NPCs and all the buildings and stuff, but then behind that, there's a lot that goes on from any mobile game, any developer's perspective. They've got psychologists they hire that try to figure out how they can get people to spend more gems and spend more money, and like what's going to keep people coming back and spending day after day. Like they literally hire people that specialize in this type of psychological stuff to make people come back over and over again. So it's funny, before I get into the Blade stuff, I made a video like this 10 months ago for a game I used to play called Clash Royale. Now, Clash Royale and Elder Scrolls Blades have nearly identical monetization systems. Everything from the chests, how much the chests cost, how much gems cost. Like both games, you can get 14,000 gems for $99. Like it's basically identical. And Clash Royale did something similar where they would add features, kind of like how Blades lowered the chest timers. But then on the other side, they would always like quietly change something else. So this is not anything new. We've seen this happen in other games where it's like proven that it happened. Now here, like I said, I can't prove that Blades did this on purpose, but I can at least share with you what I found, and I'll let you guys make your own conclusions. So I don't want to make videos like this unless, I'm pretty certain that what I'm sharing with you guys is legitimate. I'm not the kind of guy that like reads one comment and I'm like, oh my god, there's a conspiracy, I need to make a video on it. So I've done my homework, I've done my research, and I want to share with you guys what I found. So first thing first, this is a user from Reddit. His name is Puffy Duffy, and he posted this saying, ruined game, worst useless patch ever. And he addressed that silver chests, the fix isn't even that great, because now obviously instead of 30 to 50 copper you only get 5 to 7, and the trade-off is the Abyss, and they didn't say this in the patch notes. And basically he goes on to say that what he's noticed is that he was getting really good stuff, and after the update he's now not getting any good stuff. And he specifically states that materials in the Abyss drops are like 2 tiers below your level. So if you guys didn't know this, there are a whole system of levels and tiering in the Elder Scrolls Blades, and basically the cap right now in the beta is up to level 50. I say in the beta because I feel like it should be higher than that, but right now it's 50, and you need you unlock a new tier of armor at level 35, at level 40, 45, up until 50. So these are players who are like essentially maxed level. They were able to get Dragon Bone like armor, Daedric armor, and then after the patch, now all they're getting is glass, which is like 2 levels or 2 tiers below their current level. So that's what Puffy Duffy shared. Another quick one we had was by Hash Browns, who said they nerfed legendary gear drops from Abyss, it seems. So after doing around 12 Abyss runs since the update, I have not seen any dragon gear or legendary gear. Seems like they did a ninja nerf without saying anything about it. Has anyone else gotten a legendary from the Abyss since the patch? And I believe the comments on that were pretty consistent with what he had to say. It looks like I'm reading them right now. One guy replied, nope, done 3 runs, got an ebony item, which I've never gotten in the reward list before. How else are you supposed to be able to farm Dragon Bone? Someone else said 20 runs, not a single extra gear drop, and so on and so forth. It seems to be pretty consistent there around Hash Brown's message as well. Next, we have a post by Captain Nuggets who said, anybody notice after the patch that the chances of getting a gold chest from jobs dropped overall with the new cycle? Legendaries were removed from the gold and elder chest. The artifacts and dragon gear drops were massively nerfed in the abyss. So the first 2 points I want to mention, notice the patch, the chances of getting gold chests from jobs dropped overall in the new cycle. I didn't look into that too much, but I do know that the cycle did change. That could be the case. They did add elder chests to the cycle. But then again, right, they add elders, they take away less golds, you know, or something like that. So that's a common theme here that I think you'll find. Legendaries removed from gold and elder chests. That is, I believe, a glitch. So I can show you, this is something that I can confirm, but there's somebody who I am fairly certain is a Bethesda employee in Reddit that confirmed this is just a glitch and it will be fixed very soon. However, in the meantime, you can clearly see that if you look at the chests in the shop, before, golden chest, if you scroll down, it had a very small chance of a bonus artifact. It was 0.1%, I believe. And then also the chests are glitched. I can't X out of the chests. And also, same thing, if you look in the elder chest, you scroll down, there used to be a bonus artifact odds of 1%, and that is also not visible here as well. And it looks like this chest is also glitched, and I can't tap out of it, so I have to close my app again. And last but not least, the legendary chest. If you scroll down, obviously there's a lot of cool stuff in here, but even these aren't showing any additional chances at the bottom. And these were 5%, so you actually had a decent chance of getting a bonus artifact. And clearly, like, just the chests in general are glitched. What makes me think it is a glitch is that, okay, the golden chest and elder chest don't have it. That seems fishy. People are starting to get upset. But the fact that the legendary chests also aren't showing that makes me think it's just a glitch. So that's good. Otherwise, you know, I might think, okay, this is another way that Bethesda's trying to screw us over. But fortunately, it's not. So I can't X out of this chest either, but that's fine. We can just leave it up for right now because I want to continue going through some of our messages here. Next up, this is another player that I talked to personally, actually, and got a little bit more information from him. He said he couldn't get proof of, like, exactly showing that this had happened. And he tried to talk to the devs, and it sounds like, obviously, they're not going to respond here. But he was saying that players and even streamers were receiving legendary items and artifacts from the Abyss. Now you can't even get any level equipment gear. He's done about 40 runs, he said, and the best thing he could get was a green piece of Stalrim gear. So obviously he's done plenty of runs, so it's not like he just got unlucky. And this is consistent with what I've heard from other players that I personally talked to as well, is that now, you know, what used to be gear that was really frequent, like 80 or 90% of the time, is now literally 0. So this is kind of more evidence there too. So Loco NL Coco commented, they ruined the game. Endgame is pay to win because Abyss drops were nerfed into hell. They didn't announce it. It's not on patch notes, and it's perfectly hidden behind the silver chest changes. They done effed it up. Game will die unless it's a bug. So this is interesting, right? This was someone that commented on a video and was like saying the exact same thing as everybody over on Reddit. And it started to make me think that now that I'm hearing this over and over again, I decided to maybe take a look and see what I could find. Another person that I actually talked to quite a bit, and big shout out to Noisy Leader. He helped me out a ton. I talked to him probably the most, and some of the screenshots you'll see in this video he did share with me. So Noisy was saying this update was just to fool everyone. They fixed silver chest, but in return they made endgame pay to win as much as possible. Now you can't get good gear from the Abyss, and high level materials needed to craft Dragon Bone and Dragon Plate cannot drop from the Abyss anymore. So get ready for when you hit level 46 and you have to pay hundreds of dollars to get a chance to get Dragon Plate gear. This wasn't a patch that helped us, they just screwed us over even more. So what Noisy's talking about is that leveling system that I mentioned earlier. Once you hit level 45, you are now able to wear Dragon Bone and Dragon Plate armor, but now that you can't get it from the Abyss, like the only place you can get it now is literally from these chests in the shop, and that is where there's a significant paywall. Next up, this is a really interesting screenshot from Noisy Leader. So he is showing this screenshot from before the patch, excuse me, this is after the patch. You can see he clearly has full Daedric armor at level 45 in his player's like screenshot. He's literally just wearing the armor, yet he's getting glass items from his reward. So this was after the patch today. This screenshot we have up next is from an anonymous player that Noisy shared with me. This is from before the patch. We've got a guy at level 49 with like full dragon plate. Clearly shows like, yeah, you could get this stuff pretty easily. And he got an artifact too. He got an Onyx Saber from the Abyss. This is before the patch. So you can clearly see between these screenshots, players that had gotten the gear, and especially from Noisy screenshot, now literally just didn't have like anything. He was like getting glass stuff when he normally would get things that were his tier. And after talking with them, a lot of people confirmed that these weren't just like a small chance, like maybe they're just getting unlucky. Literally before the patch, it was like 90% of the time, and you could almost like predict when it would happen. There was a certain cycle of loot in the Abyss where it was like, you know, a few items of loot, then like a gold chest, then a few items of loot, and then you get like some armor that was like 2 tiers below, another gold chest. Then you'd keep going, and after like a certain gold chest, you were guaranteed to basically get a really good like your tiered piece of armor or weapon or something like that. And then after the patch, people have been running 10, 20, 30, 40 runs of the Abyss in just a day, and they're like, bro, I'm not getting anything this time. So it's definitely enough to the point where it's like noticeable. The one caveat that I want to mention for all of this is it might not have been removed completely, but still, like, they significantly dropped it, maybe from 90% down to like 0.5%. Like maybe some of these people just haven't done enough runs to the point where the armor has showed up. Maybe it's like super rare now, and we just got to play a ton to get the stuff, which even that is like okay. It does look like you could get stuff really easily, and maybe that's not the right way either. But we all can agree that any change they may have made should have been included in the patch notes. We need to have full transparency so that we know what we're getting ourselves into. We know when we're like spending money on this game, or we're grinding hours to get something, that what we should expect to happen will happen. It's not fair when they go and make changes like this. And again, I'm not saying they did, but when you have a lot of evidence that's suggesting they did, maybe they should address it, or if they made changes, maybe they should put it in the patch notes. It definitely feels like there were some things that weren't in the patch notes, and like I've said before with other mobile games that I've played, that's something where, you know, it's not too far-fetched. Companies will do that, and they will make a lot of changes. Like I said, with Clash Royale, every time they gave us a new feature, there was always something on the side that they like quietly just took away, or they would replace features. So at the end of the day, what you were getting, like your gold drip, how much gold they're like kind of letting you get every day or whatever, was like pretty much the same. They were never really giving you more. And I can also just attest to this from the fact that I work in the mobile gaming industry. I work for a mobile live streaming platform that partners with mobile games. So I am pretty knowledgeable on the subject of how these games make money and what they do. So what I'm seeing here is actually kind of believable. So if you can trust me as a credible source, and if I can trust these guys, it sounds like they know what they're talking about. A lot of people were noticing it at the same time. That's a little fishy to me. You know, if a lot of people are starting to like come to the same conclusion independently of each other, it's not like they all talked and were like, yeah, I think this happened. Somebody over on Reddit was like, hey, I noticed something today. Somebody over on YouTube who like didn't even talk to that guy on Reddit was like, hey, I also noticed something today. And then you got all these people in the middle that are noticing the same thing. Maybe it actually happened. We'll never know, but all we can do is gather enough circumstantial evidence to try to draw a conclusion for ourselves. It really is unfortunate because I thought the update this morning was a step in the right direction, but hey, these gaming companies, every time they give you something, they always want to take something away on the back end. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Well, I hope you didn't enjoy it too much because it was pretty sad, but it was kind of a sobering reality that maybe Bethesda didn't learn from their initial mistakes. I guess I'm willing to maybe give them another shot. It's still early access. Anything can happen. The game is not technically in its final state yet, and we haven't even played the arena yet, so there's still a lot to come. But what we're seeing today, at least, is a little grim. So I'll leave you guys with that, and that's all I have for you today, and I will see you next time.